We all know credit card debt in this world that we live in is crazy. And there are a lot of people who are in such situation for various reasons. And in today's video, we're going to check out those various reasons. But before we do that, let's run a preview.
How do y'all have no debt? I need to know.
A lot in debt.
Over $8,500.
How much debt do you have?
$10,000.
How I actually got worse and worse into debt.
I have
Never open a store credit card.
You want to save 20% off with our store credit card?
They are just in massive amounts of credit card debt.
I couldn't even look at my bank account, let alone sit down and make a budget.
We have probably just under $1 million in debt.
And $63,000.
I have $52 left at the bank, lasts until Friday.
I'm supposed to be on a debt-free journey, and I'm trying, but I can't stop shopping.
What's a bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Opening up a credit card at 18 years old.
Trying to plan a Disney cruise.
That's insanely expensive.
There are days like today where I just want to go on a rant about debt. I have $40,000. How do y'all have no debt? I need to know. There are days like today where I just want to go on a rant about debt. I have $40,000 worth of debt, and that does not include my student loans or my mortgage, because those are things that they get paid when, well, the mortgage gets paid all the time. Obviously, student loans, whenever they come back on, okay, whatever, I'll have to pay that. But I am talking about daily living expenses.
So she's in this debt, and she has not even started back paying her student loans yet. Oh, Lord. Let's listen to a situation, though. Everybody is in a different predicament, so everything is not as clear and cut as it may seem. Let's keep rocking.
Debt. How do you not have debt? Maybe you guys do and you're just not telling everybody, and that's perfectly fine. Do whatever is best for you. I don't normally tell people, but I've been sharing my recipes, and I'm doing a series on share my recipes to help pay down my debt, because how else am I going to do it? It's going to be a continuous cycle. Like, I'm not spending money on like getting my nails done, going buy new clothes, new shoes, new bags. No, I'm getting diapers. I'm getting wipes. I'm getting formula. I'm getting groceries, things that are a necessity for us to quite literally stay alive. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this or goes on rants about debt, but something's got to give. The economy's got to change. I can do some things on my part as far as maybe I can make more money. Hello, TikTok. That would be you. So, yeah. Happy Wednesday.
I'm kind of confused. The way she's talking makes me think that there's not a second income in the house, but I see the ring. I don't know. Nonetheless, when you have kids, it makes things so much harder in terms of your financial situation. Yes, it does. On top of that, whatever her mortgage is probably making it harder. Whatever her, I don't know, she has a car note. That's a nice car. Maybe she has one. I don't know. She didn't say, but let's just say she doesn't have any of that. All this debt is due to the fact that she is spending money on groceries and the day-to-day things. A lot of people see themselves in debt. Why? Because they do not budget when they do not have the funds to not budget. I think most people out there need to know every single item that they are buying, and a lot of people don't know that. You need some type of app that tracks everything that you're going to buy, or you need to simply write it down, because if you don't, you will find yourself spending money on things that you don't even need, or you find yourself spending more money than you think that you have. And to answer her question more directly, most people who are not in that either A, woke up and they just had money. They just grew up in a financially healthy situation, or two, they made sure that they managed the money that they already had and lived well below their means, because times are changing and it's a lot easier to get in debt than it is to get out of it.
Today is one of those days. I am a lot in debt.
That is an understatement. Now, she posted another video giving us a breakdown, so let's check that one out.
For people asking how I got into $77,000 worth of debt at the age of 26, I'm going to do my debt pay breakdown right here with percentages. Majority of it is student loan debt. I am actively working to pay it down. I would love for you guys to put in the comment section of this video of side hustles and businesses that you guys started, essentially to really help me try to pay these debts down myself, trying to afford living, trying to afford life. I don't know how I'm doing it.
That Discover card, but I have seen worse. We have seen a lot worse. The private student loan, don't like that either. But this is not that bad once you break it down this way. I have seen a lot worse. Is this doable to get out of? Yes, it is. That $4,900 worth of Discover or whatever needs to be the first thing. All your coins, all your paper, everything that you get needs to go right towards it. Get rid of that first. And once you do that, that 5.7% loan, that 2 to 4, that 2 to 4, you can do that. This is very doable. When you first hear 77K, my mind went left. I'm like, whoa, 77K? But this is manageable considering the things that we have seen on this channel.
You probably see a lot of girls on social media in these beautiful high-rise apartments, and it just seems like they have their whole life together. I'm going to tell you 9 out of 10 times they have debt, just like you. So I'm going to tell you guys exactly how much money I make and exactly how much debt I have. I make $72,000 a year, a lot of which goes towards living expenses because it is expensive to live in the city. But on top of living expenses, I have debt. I have 2 credit cards. First one is at a balance of $4,865. Second one is $3,663. That's a little over $8,500 just in credit card debt.
You know what'll be interesting? I would love to know, what are y'all spending, or why are y'all swiping these cards and not paying them off in full? What purchase did you make? That'll let me know a lot. Did you suddenly become ill in the hospital, couldn't work, as I have seen before? Or did you buy something you probably should have left at the store? But let's continue.
Just in credit card debt, because I also took out an auto loan. My auto loan is $16,291. That's $24,819 in debt. I only say this because I feel like it's so easy to look at social media and compare yourself, but in reality, everybody is in the trenches. Even if it seems like somebody makes more money than you or has their life together, they probably don't. I'm coming up with a plan to really attack my debt this year, and here's hoping that we can get through it.
It is so easy to get caught up in wanting the next best thing or some type of upgrade instead of setting yourself up for the most success, maybe putting your head down a little bit and tackling that credit card debt, because that credit card debt is the worst debt. The high APRs. I don't understand how people allow themselves to get down bad in these credit cards, man. It doesn't make any sense. And I am deep in the credit card game, so I understand. I get a credit card, I pay it off in full each and every single month. If you are in debt, don't just be adding more debt to it.
How much debt do you have? Because by the age of 21, I had already racked up $35,000 in debt.
Wait a minute now. I'm hoping she's gonna tell me this is all student loans, but let's go.
10K of that being, baby, credit cards and loans. Literally, don't ask me how, girl. Like, when I was in my early 20s, girl, I was struggling. Like, I graduated during 2020, girl. Like, I was stupid, right? I have worked my past 2 years, so I'm 23 now. I have worked my butt off in paying my loans down. I now have no loans. I have no credit cards. My car is almost paid off, and I have just been dumping money at it. But then I get online and I realize, like, a lot of people do not realize how bad their debt really is. America, we really live in like a debt-focused society, and I'm not saying like you're never gonna have debt. Like, debt is always gonna be there, but be smart with how you're paying off your debt, and also pay attention to like your interest rates. Like, if the loan has an interest rate of like 20%, you need to be paying that off like as soon as you can, or like not carrying a balance on those cards. But if it's like a car payment, girl, they should not be trying to make you have a 15%, 12% interest rate, girl. Like, no, do not just be paying attention to your car payment. Like, yeah, it's $300 now, but girl, you're paying $60,000 for a $25,000 car. Like,
you'd be surprised how many people do that. A lot of people don't even know what their APRs are when they drive off the lot. They just know they in the car that they want, the car of their dreams, and then they realize that car might be $45K. But before you get done paying it off, you have paid about 80. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you even do that? I know why. You want the brand new shiny item. You want to pull up in that thing. You know what I'm saying? You want to pull up in that thing. And like I always say, I'm not anti-car loan, but I am anti-bad deal. Don't set yourself up for failure.
How much credit card debt are you in? Because for context, I'm 26. I've been working since 17, paying for my own shit, moved out at 18, have been independent ever since. And I have $10,000 worth of credit card debt. And I will be the first to admit that I'm not perfect. I've definitely paid off medical bills and like emergency vet visits and things on my credit card, but I've also bought a lot of dumb shit. But it's like people my age have $55,000 worth of credit card debt. Do you see how my eye is twitching? That shit stresses me out. Like $55,000 is my take-home salary from my last job. Like, I think I'm just morbidly curious on like what gets you to the point of $55,000 worth of credit card debt? Also, who gave you $55,000 worth of credit in general? Like, not to mention, my credit usage, way high. Like 90 something percent. So my interest rates, 30%. Like, the interest would make you want to throw up.
People find themselves in situations like this because they do not simply get one credit card. They do not simply get two credit cards. They go and get a loan. They do not simply get a loan. They go and get buy now, pay later. They do not simply get buy now, pay later. They go and get whatever else is out there for you to have, some line of credit, whatever that may be, a payday loan, whatever it is. People out here doing some crazy and some diabolical things, paying for trips, going to lavish places, living in the moment. But when they come back, they want to complain because they don't have a damn thing. They don't have the funds. Why? Because they decided that they wanted to take a flight to Dubai and sit there, spend all their money, and then come back. Not everybody is doing that. That's not everybody, but I'm just explaining how people find themselves in extremely high levels of credit card debt because they're swiping and not thinking anything about it. We see it all the time. And like I always say, if you do not know every single purchase that you are making, you're going to set yourself up for failure.
I did my May expenses because I got paid today, and I realized that I have officially hit $30,000 in credit card debt, and that is insane and unacceptable. And so I did a deep dive to find out how I actually got worse and worse into debt when this is something I've been focusing on for 6 months. Before you come for me, this comes from a completely separate bank account. I had no idea.
It doesn't matter. It's still your money. What does that even got to do with it? All right, I'm not even going to talk about that. She bought a coffee. I believe you should make your coffee at the crib. Coffee is way too overpriced for what you get out of it, but that's just me. I digress. Let's keep going.
I would tell myself, okay, I'm not going to spend, and then very easily fall back into a poor spending habit. Whatever I want, I buy it. I also make money on TikTok Shop, and so I was rationalizing in my head every time I wanted something on TikTok Shop that I could sell it on here. I make about $1,000 a month on TikTok Shop, and I'm spending about $1,000 a month on TikTok Shop, which is insane. I also buy from boutiques, and I drop.
You spending? All right. Keep going.
$100 here and there and here and there without thought. June is going to be a no spend month for me, and I'm really excited to see how hard it is, but I really want to do this.
She is a prime example of what I just was talking about. And the thing about it is she is making extra money to pay off some of her debt, and she still isn't doing the right thing. A lot of times, this is what happens though. As we continue to climb and get more bread, more paper, we shred it by throwing it at the furnace at things we don't even need, because in our mind we think just because I got more I can do more, instead of staying in that same lane for a while. You ain't gotta stay in there long. I want everybody to prosper. I want everybody to eat. But stay in that lane a little while longer. Your exit ain't there yet. You still got some things you gotta do. But what do? You decide to get off and go to Target. You decide, in her case, go to TikTok Shop. Oh, TikTok Shop. Taking your money, $1,000 a month. Instead of putting it toward that debt, you could have been knocking it out. Some people don't have the ability or the capability or the whatever ability you want to put in there to even start knocking out their debt at that type of rate, and you decide not to. That's crazy work. That's crazy.
When they call, I tell them I can't pay it back yet.
To me, in my personal opinion, the first thing you have to do is track every single thing that you are spending money on. A lot of us, me included, did not realize how much money I was actually spending until I sat there and had something tracking it. I think that's the first thing anybody in debt needs to do.
Never open a store credit card. This is why. I opened a store credit card with a furniture company back maybe 5 years ago to buy a couch, and I totally forgot that I had this credit card. I must have deleted the app and not paid attention to payments, and I don't even know where the credit card is, to be honest. I don't know if I have possession of the actual card. I bought the couch with it, and I was making my payments, and I must have just totally forgot to keep paying them because I just got a call from a credit collector. It sounds so embarrassing, but like, learn from my mistakes. Hoping is what you can get. My financial advisor is gonna hate this. I'm supposed to have a meeting with him next week. Might have to cancel. Not for that reason, just because I'm busy wedding planning. It's got a call from a credit collector. I had multiple actually today, and I wasn't paying attention to them just because they're numbers that I'm trying not to pay attention to during my work day. And then my mom also got multiple calls, so she called me and she's like, someone is trying to reach you, so you might want to call them back. Call them back. They told me it is for this store card that I had that I totally forgot about. They just like completely rang the bell in my head when they said it. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing that I still have that. It told me that it is getting to legal action almost if I don't pay it because it's been so long. It's now been sold, all of this stuff, blah, 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 blah. So long story short, I got to the bottom of it. I'm paying off the entire amount. There was $1,000 on this card still. $1,061 is what it was on this card, and I did not pay that. And that sounds so embarrassing, but it's truly just because I am a ditz and I totally forget. And like I said, if everything's not on auto pay, I will forget to pay it.
Now, I am a firm believer in auto pay. I love auto pay. I love to just do it real quick, like in a snap. But the thing about it is, as I just said, and this is why I say it's very important to have a way to track every single thing that you're spending. Whenever you swipe that card, it needs to be something that is letting you know, and it needs to be some type of financial app that you have, especially if you're on a debt-free journey, whatever you might be on. You need to have a way, one source, one app that will allow you to track all of your spending. I personally recommend either Monarch, which is $100 a month. Now, you may not want that if you're on a debt-free journey. You probably don't need to be paying that subscription fee. If you need a free one though, Empower is a great one. I love it. I still use it. I use both Monarch and Empower. Monarch is a little bit more hands-on. Empower, you can plug and play. If that card was in Empower or Monarch and she saw the balance, she'd be like, oh, I still got a balance here. You know, it would have, gave her a heads up there. So let's keep going though.
It's just truly who I am, and I'm grateful that I can put everything on auto pay and make it easy for me. And I have the finances to do that, and I have the finances to pay this lump sum off, which I hate doing, but I'm gonna have to take the L on this one because I should have done this years ago. I should have paid this off years ago. I shouldn't even had a store credit card to buy a couch. I should have just paid for the couch. Like, I don't even know why, like, that was a financial decision in my head to make. Like, I should have had a financial advisor 5 years ago. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm hoping I can teach you guys to learn from my mistakes as well, so you don't have to make these mistakes. Just be aware, don't open a store credit card. If you do, fully pay it off. I highly recommend don't opening a store credit card. If you are gonna open a credit card, get one with good benefits and things that you can use it towards. I'm just glad that I'm going to be able to close this credit card and have this completely gone off wherever. I don't even care. It's done, it's over with, and it is something that I kind of just have to take the L on, and it sucks. And I'm in the middle of wedding planning, and now I have to go drop $1,000 on a credit card bill, but it is what it is.
Shout out to whoever her financial advisor is, because it seems like throughout those 5 years, she has learned a lot, especially when she started talking about credit cards and the benefits and stuff like that, because they can be beneficial. But in terms of the store credit card, I highly recommend that you don't get one of those. But instead of me talking about store credit cards, I'm gonna let somebody interject here and talk about them in a way that I think is a lot more efficient, or at least funny to me.
I don't know what store needs to hear this. We don't want the store credit card. Most of our totals be under $100. Y'all be trying to sign us up for 360 deals. I'm okay, love. And stop harassing y'all workers to try and sell us that stuff anyway. They be sounding like bad car salesmen in the line. I'm trying to get my 3-4 items, and they trying to sell me a credit card that I don't need. Do you want to save 20% off with our store credit card? Girl, my items are $50. I don't need that. I don't need it, baby. Keep it. And I know they be getting on y'all about it, but I don't know what to tell you. That's why I'm coming to the store. Stop. Can you hear us? Stop.
I did not hear one lie be told. I don't like store credit cards. I'm never going to get a store credit card. I don't need it.
Guys, how much credit card debt are we in? Seriously, please tell me. And I'm talking consumer debt. I'm not talking like car payments. Well, maybe a car payment. Actually, no. I'm not talking student loans. I am talking credit card consumer debt. How much credit card debt are we in? How many credit cards do you have? Please tell me, because I'm supposed to be on a debt-free journey and I'm trying, but I can't stop shopping.
I don't know if she's on vacation or she just stays by the beach. Hopefully she just stays by the beach, but to me it looks like she's on vacation. I don't know.
I'm a shopaholic. We're talking about it in therapy. That's fine. But please tell me so I can feel a little bit better about myself. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. I'm under 10K on 2 cards. So, not like combined, not like each. So that makes me feel a little bit better, because I know people have like way more than that. But please, make me feel a little bit better about myself. Are we in the same boat? Are you above me? Please help. Thanks.
This is why we see a lot of people go on apps like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to talk about things that they have done to themselves, situations that they themselves have put themselves in. Now, I do feel bad for people who have to put money on credit cards, because it does happen. Everybody doesn't have it like that. But when you see a situation like this, I can't feel that bad for you because you're in debt, because a lot of the times you know you got a problem, and when you know better, you're supposed to do better.
What's a bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Opening up a credit card at 18 years old.
Yeah.
1,000%. I just paid the off, actually, like 2 days ago. I'm 23 years old.
Oh,
so, yeah, that was the worst financial decision, I would say.
What was like stuff you were purchasing?
Random, honestly. Like, I was 18, I was fresh in college. I was buying Lord knows what with no actual money.
Yeah.
I didn't have a job, but I had a credit card. So, yeah, no.
And then what credit card was this?
It was a Wells Fargo credit card. It was like their college credit card. So, of course, I got approved for that shit. Of course.
And you're just now paying it off, like
Just now paying it
4
off.
years?
I f***ing graduated last year, and I just now paid that shit off.
Parents didn't help out or nothing?
I didn't ask for them to. It was my financial burden, so I wanted to be the one to pay it off.
Would you say you're a self-sufficient lady?
Oh, 1,000%. I don't rely on nobody.
Okay, I love that. I love that. And what do we do for a living?
I'm a leasing agent.
Are you a leasing agent?
Yes, I'm a leasing agent, yes.
The best thing to do is not put yourself in this situation in the first place. But when you do make a mistake, when you learn that it was a mistake, what do? You do better. Do your best to dig yourself out of that hole, and then don't go back.
The trips are coming up.
So,
please don't tell me trips are coming up.
Well, I've been trying to plan a Disney cruise.
Oh, that's insanely expensive.
Exactly.
What is that? How much is that going to cost?
Well,
how much is that going to cost?
For the weeks that I needed to go. So it had to be specific because he can't get off work. He has shut down on 2 weeks a year. So the price for the week we needed to go was going to be $8,000 for the cruise.
Oh my! That is a month of your income, lady.
Justified crash out. Why are you even going on a Disney cruise? You better go on Carnival for about $500. No, I just play. You need to sit at the house.
You said you want to control the money because you cannot trust him, so that you guys can pay off debt, so that you can get married. That is what you opened this conversation with. You, that is not the truth. That is bull. That is bull. That is bull. That is bull. That is a lie. You don't care about that. You care about prioritizing the fun you want to do.
It's for
the fun that you want to do.
Why ruin their childhood because of my bad choices,
I never went on a Disney cruise. My childhood wasn't ruined.
Well, it's actually cheaper than going to Disney World, so I actually thought this was the cheaper option.
I didn't go to Disney World until I basically was graduating high school. It did not ruin my childhood.
Well, I've never been either, so I just...
Okay, you're not a child. I'm not afraid of ruining your childhood. And again, what you just said right there, justifying that, is just clearly showing that you are prioritizing your fun. The fun that you want to do. Because I haven't gone either. I'm 25. Oh my goodness.
Telling so much truth right here. I think we have lost the plot, man. Most kids don't even really care about what they're doing a lot of times, so long as they're doing something. There's so many different ways to have fun. Disney does not have to be on the list. It's overpriced anyways, especially if you're already in $100,000 worth of debt. I'm not saying don't go to Disney. Do Disney the right way. There are so many different avenues you can take in order to save money before your Disney vacation. But when you're in a situation like that, stay at the house.
Yeah, do a little birthday trip, max out a card, not paying it off. You just pay. You can put on for a trip last weekend. You're about to go on a Disney cruise. It's going to be $6,000. Lindsay, did you go to Disney cruise as a kid? Was your childhood ruined? I got a solid no. What about you, Jake? No, sir. Oh, I don't think their childhood is ruined. They're living pretty good adult lives.
it's just like, this is like the only way I can like be okay with working all these hours and working all the
No,
time.
it's not. You need coping mechanisms. You need better discipline.
You know, when I was young and naive, I used to think there was hope out there for everybody. But the older I've gotten, I just have to accept the fact that not everybody is going to find their way out. And she just might be lost. I don't know. I can wish, I can hope, I can pray for everybody. But at the end of the day, people are going to make their choices and live with them.
I have $52 left at the bank to last until Friday. Today is Monday. I have $135 coming out between now and then in credit card debt. A little bit stressed, but this is usually how it is for me most weeks. So if you do the math, we're going to be negative a little over $80. And I also have 33 miles left till empty. I can get away with putting about $15 in my car. Let's just say we're going to be negative about $100. Lucky for me though, I did do a pet sitting job over the weekend. It was a small one. Get paid for that today. She owes me $50. A lot of my clients do tip, so we'll see what comes of that. At least I won't be negative $100. Do you know that I need at least roughly $50 now to get me through the week? I would love to start Instacarting, but I've been trying to sign up for 2 years and it always says I'm on the wait list. I don't know how to go about that. I've emailed them. I did DoorDash a few years ago, and in my area, it's just not really worth it. So yeah. When I say I'm drowning in credit card debt, I truly mean I feel like I'm drowning in credit card debt. If I was not in $9,000 worth of credit card debt, I would not be in this situation right now. I would not go negative all the time in the bank. So that's why I brought my debt to TikTok. It was embarrassing at first, but then I realized this is real life. If you're in a similar situation like me, I say this in every video, but I highly encourage you to start a series, whether it's credit card debt, medical bills, whatever it is. Start a series. People will follow along because they want to be able to come back and check where you've gotten with your progress. Hopefully this month we are going to pay off my next lowest credit card, which is sitting a little under $600. We're just going to keep on keeping on.
And this is what I mean when I say everybody does not have it like that. This is somebody who is out here struggling, trying to meet ends meet one day at a time, week by week, having to figure it out because they are afraid that their account is going to be below, and in most cases, from what I see right here, is going below zero. Don't know what she did in order to find herself in that situation, and from what I see, I believe those are car seats in the back, so it looks like she has children on top of that, which we have seen in the beginning of this video. Kids are very expensive. But let this be a reminder to the ones that are not in this situation. Do what you can to not get in this type of situation.
Yes, I am in $63,000 worth of debt, and most of that being credit card debt. So let's just get into it. It's Casey. I'm a 30-year-old mom of 2 who also owns a mini farm, and my husband and I moved to our dream house in 2023, at the end of 2023. And since then, and even before then, I have racked up a ridiculous amount of credit card debt because I like to make myself feel better by buying things that I probably shouldn't. And I was living outside of my means, and I'm terrible with money. Well, I was terrible with money. I'll be the first to admit. So let's just lay all that out right now. I know that this is ridiculous. I know that I've put myself in a really shitty spot, but this is all my fault and I have to take full responsibility. So I am putting myself out there to do these challenges, to do these series, to try to make money off of social media because I know it's possible. I've seen it change people's lives. And I just want to see if it'll work for me because I want to explore every possible avenue of trying to get out of this debt that I put myself in.
And I ain't mad at nobody for trying to go to social media and get to the bag. I want us all to get to the money and get to the paper. I want everybody to know that. Damn truck. And I'm not mad at anybody for doing social media in order to try to get out of debt, in order to try to get to the bag and get to the paper. But what I don't want to see happen is people see different things like this and say, well, I'm just going to get in debt and I'll just make a TikTok series in order to get out of it, because it's not as easy as you might think.
I also want to mark that my husband is very good with money and none of this is really his fault. The credit card debt is solely mine. There are 2 loans on here that both of us had agreed to, which I'll get into in a couple minutes. If you're not interested in learning about all the mistakes that I've made when it comes to financial stability and financial decisions, then you can just scroll on. But if you're someone who's struggling with your finances, stay put because you're not alone, and a lot of us are struggling out here. So
we're not going to review the full thing here. We're going to save that for a little bit later on in the week. But if you want to go and watch her entire video, link is in the beginning of this video.
We have probably just under $1 million in debt, and we want to know how to get debt-free without filing bankruptcy.
Okay, how much of that is a mortgage?
The mortgage, about $210,000.
So you have $600,000 in what?
$335,000 is about in student loans. We both have advanced degrees, and then the rest is really credit cards and personal loans.
So you have $300,000 of credit cards and personal loans?
We have about $335,000 student loans and about $136,000 in credit cards, $44,000 personal loans, and $35,000 car loans.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay. So what in the world?
Yeah.
I mean, are you both on this, or is this just one of you that's completely lost your mind?
And we actually both do now at this point, actually.
Okay, so your household income is what?
Our household income is about $230,000.
This also goes to show you, see, they making a lot of money, and so in their mind they thought they could easily get out of this situation because of the fact that they were making a lot of money. And so you get that huge number because they were just spending and spending. Oh, we made a lot of money, we can get out of this situation quick. And then those credit cards, those interest rates make that number add up faster than you can even think.
How do some of y'all have $27,000 in credit card debt? I just want to know.
Years ago, I was in $60,000 of credit card debt, so I'll tell you exactly how that happened because I also never thought that I would get there, and it really does happen kind of fast. So the number one factor for me was the fact that I had so much anxiety and shame around money that I would actively avoid my finances. Like, I couldn't even look at my bank account, let alone sit down and make a budget. So all this in money advice and how to get yourself out of debt and whatever was kind of irrelevant to me because if I couldn't even get myself to the computer to like open my bank account, I couldn't do the rest of it. And because I didn't have a budget and was avoiding my finances, it was really easy for me to not know how much I was spending month to month on like subscriptions and various expenses that you accumulate over time. Plus, this was like the worst mental health period of my life. So my ADHD was rearing its ugly head and I was impulse spending. I also just had a very nihilistic attitude of like, it doesn't even matter, whatever, I'll just deal with it later. But the thing that you don't realize when you first start getting into credit card debt is how quickly the interest compounds over time.
And once again, it's extremely important to be able to track every single thing that you're spending. Don't be ashamed to look at your bank accounts, to take a deep dive into what you're spending your money on every single day. It's super important.
And this is how you can go from having like $8,000 in credit card debt to $27,000 or $60,000 or whatever it is, because all of your cash is now going to two things. It's going to rent, maybe a few different utilities payments that you can't put on a credit card. It's going to your minimums, right? And your minimums on your credit cards are growing every single month, even if you don't put a single new charge on that credit card. So when all of your cash is going to your credit card minimums or even paying off a little bit more than your minimums to try to like get ahead, you're still having to put a lot of your purchases on credit cards because you're out of cash. So that combined with the money avoidance to me was this perfect storm of like, I just didn't know how quickly debt would accumulate once it started. Like once the ball started rolling, it gets away from you really fast. So the question is not how does someone end up with that much debt? The question is like, what are the patterns that got you into debt in the first place and that are keeping you from dealing with the debt? Because those are going to be the same patterns that turn this into like a wildfire that spreads really quickly.
It almost reminds me of that cartoon back in the day when you have something rolling down a hill. It starts with like one thing and then it just continues to add up and it's just rolling on down the hill. That's exactly what she's alluding to. We see a lot of times people are really stuck in these bad habits and these bad routines. The most important thing that you can do, as she said, get in a routine, start making better decisions and make those better decisions a habit. It makes things a lot easier.
I need everyone to know this about being in your early 20s. You will meet people that are going to Europe every summer, buying new cars, buying new outfits, going to Coachella. And if you are wondering, how can they afford to be living like this? Like, is something wrong with me that I'm not able to spend like that? Just know they aren't spending like that because they're working harder than you, because they're networking better than you, because they're better connected. They're probably not even generationally wealthy. They are just in massive amounts of credit card debt. How much someone spends and the life that they portray on social media is not necessarily reflective of how much money they are really making. Nothing is wrong with you if you're not able to spend like that. In fact, you are way better off in the long run because you are living within your means instead of going into crazy debt to portray a lifestyle that is far above it.
Now, before I even get into it, I want to say this. There are some people out there who are not struggling. Everybody out here is not struggling. There are some people who can do what she said and be perfectly fine. However, there are a lot of people out there who are exactly who she is talking about. They are going on these trips, doing things that they should not be doing, and they are living it up. Just like that one lady who had $100,000 in debt, and now she is planning a Disney cruise. If you did not know better, you would think that she was falling, but in actuality, she's falling into a deeper hole that is credit card debt. Don't be like them. Save your money. Do what you need to do in order to put yourself in position to exceed and excel in life. And I wish that on everybody. I hope everybody out here gets to the money, gets to the bag, gets to the paper, and do exactly what they want to do in life. I'm hoping that you do that. Like, comment, and also subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.